Hey everyone, it's Narissa. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to share with you a frosting hack. So if you're looking for an easy cake decorating idea, this video is for you and stay tuned. Alright, so first thing is first, we need some frosting. Now I'm going to make my frosting homemade. I am using a bakery buttercream recipe that I use all the time. It's really easy to make. I will link it at the end and also in the description box down below. I have a video on it. It's called Bakery Buttercream. Now you don't have to make your own frosting in order to do this decorating hack. You can also use store-bought frosting. And if you're going to use store-bought frosting, I would recommend putting it in your blender or putting it in a bowl and whipping it up for several minutes to get it nice and fluffy. And it will kind of change consistency a little bit and act a little bit more like a homemade frosting, but that's definitely an option here. So either make some homemade or get your favorite one from the store. All right, so what you're going to need to decorate this cake, this super simple way, is just some food coloring and whatever colors you prefer. I also have a spoon. This is going to be your main tool that we're going to use today. And then I have two scrapers here. I have like an offset spatula and then a bench scraper. Sometimes I prefer to use this. It's super cheap. You can get it at Walmart. You can get it on Amazon. And sometimes I prefer to use this. And then you're going to need a few different plastic Ziploc bags. I have two big ones and one little one here. So I'm going to use 3 colors in my cake. So that's why I have 3 bags. You're going to need some scissors just to snip off the tips of these bags, so that can be your piping bag. And then a couple bowls just to mix your icing. And this is not necessary, but this is what I'm going to put my cake on. It's just a plastic round 10-inch cake round here, and then this is a cake spinner that makes decorating so much easier. So I have my icing already. It's just the plain white icing that I'm going to use to frost this cake, and I'm gonna have some white and then make 2 different colors, and I'm gonna use some of the Wilton gel food colors. I just got these at Walmart. You can get them at a lot of different places, but I'm going to make a purple flower with a yellow center, and then I'm just going to put white icing between the 2 layers of the cake. So I need to leave a lot of purple, just a tiny bit of yellow, and a good amount of white. So I'm going to start with the yellow, and I'm just going to take a little bowl, and now you really need just very little because this is just going to be the center of the flower. So I'm just going to grab just a teaspoon, and oh, here's the yellow, and put a few drops of food coloring in here. The gel food coloring is really vibrant. Alright, so I'm going to put the yellow in this little sandwich-sized Ziploc bag so that it doesn't dry out until I'm ready to use it. I'm going to turn it inside out here so it's much easier that way to put the icing in the bag. Alright, then turn it inside out, and we'll just set this aside. All right, then I'm going to set aside some white icing, and I'm just gonna kind of eyeball this. I'm going to need enough to put in the center of the cake, but I don't wanna use too much and not leave myself enough purple. So that looks about right. Set that aside. And then my main color is purple. So I am going to use my mixing bowl to mix the purple in. All right, next step is to transfer your icing, your frosting, into your last Ziploc bag. And this is gonna be quite a bit, so you don't have to do all of it at once, so the bag is easier to work with. So I will start with that. All right, so now I'm gonna take my cake turner here and my cake round, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of tape so that it stays on the cake spinner. Now, one great tip that will help you frost your cake with a lot less frustration is to freeze your cakes before you frost them. So I'm gonna get my 2 layers out of the freezer and we're gonna start working with them. Now, I used my box cake mix hack, so I also have a video on this and I will link it up here in an iCard. So if you're interested in checking that out, it is a great, simple way to make your box cake mix that everyone has sitting on their shelf taste just like a bakery cake using just a few additional ingredients. So let's go get the cakes and start frosting. So I'm gonna use white icing to put in the center. And I'm just gonna take my scissors and snip off about that much. I'm gonna work my frosting down towards that opening and twist my bag a little bit to give me some pressure. And I'm gonna make a nice thick line of frosting around the edge. And then just fill it in. And now I'm going to use my offset spatula to level this out a little bit. Now, like I mentioned, I am not a professional cake baker, so my cake is not perfect. It is a little sunken, it's a little uneven, but I can work that out a little bit with the icing, and it's okay because it doesn't have to be perfect. It's still gonna look amazing. All right, so I evened that out just a little bit. And now I'm gonna take my other layer and I'm actually gonna put the 2 top pieces together because this is my flatter side. The next step is to create a crumb layer on your cake, which basically means a very thin layer that is going to capture any loose crumbs. And it's kind of gonna be your starter layer that is going to be imperfect and, like I said, might have a few crumbs in it that we're going to put another layer on top of that's going to be clean. So I'm gonna take my purple icing here and I'm going to snip off the corner. And I'm just going to put a small amount of icing on the top and on the sides for my crumb layer. Oops. All right, now I'm going to take my offset spatula. I just kind of wiped it off a little bit. And I'm just going to spread this frosting out across the entire cake. Now, like I said, don't worry that this is not pretty because we're gonna put the pretty part on top of it. So this little offset spatula worked great this time. I will link any of the tools that I do use down below, although there are few. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make little dollops of icing all around the cake and we're gonna use a spoon to make petals. So this could not be easier. So we're going to put a dollop, all around the outside. We're going to start with the outside first. You can make these as big or as small as you want. Then we're gonna take our spoon and press into the dollop and drag it. Into the dollop and drag it. Now we're gonna do our second layer, offset of the first dollops. You can see why it's important to do the first layer of petals along the outside, because we are layering the other rows of petals on top of one another. Now, don't limit yourself to making a flower using this super simple spoon method. You can definitely do a ton of other designs. So be creative and make it your own. So there is the top. Look at that. It looks so pretty. I'm gonna go ahead and do more petals, and then I'm gonna come back, and the last thing I'm gonna do is add the yellow center. Now I'm going to take my yellow frosting and pipe in the center of the flower. I'm going to cut quite a bit off because I want a nice big circle. Alright, so that is it. Here is the finished product. I hope that the ease of this decorating hack gives you the confidence to make and decorate your own cake for someone special. This cake is for my grandma. She's turning 91 here in February, and this is for her birthday party. So happy birthday, Grandma. Alright guys, so that is it. I hope you enjoyed the final product. It was super simple, and I think it looks super cute. This is a great hack to use if you want your cake to look like it came from a bakery, but it didn't. It was done by you and with just a few simple tools that you already have in your kitchen. Don't forget to check out some of my other cake hack and baking videos in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!